Namaskar. I am Mridupankhi. On behalf of Kalabodh, I welcome you all to today's session. We have a very special guest with us today, and it's a very special session because it is one of the first in a series of sessions that we are going to conduct. Before I introduce our guest to you today, I would like to say a little bit about Kalabodh. Kalabodh is a platform constituted by heritage and museum professionals. It is a resource hub which aims to provide services in the area of management of museums, arts, heritage, and cultures of India. We endeavor to provide platforms to learn and explore and appreciate various art genres. We also collaborate for organizing cultural programs and events. A significant part of Kalabodh is also dedicated in working with children and youth, especially of the Northeast India, living in different parts of the Indian subcontinent and elsewhere in the world. We also target to collaborate with the Northeast Indian cultural centers and institutes and promote our arts and our vibrant cultures globally. So we do have a very special person with us. I would like to introduce them to you. They are very popularly known as the Story Mama. They are a professional social worker, a LGBTQIA activist, a library educator, and a storyteller with an experience of working with children, youth, and women. They are currently leading a library initiative called the Kitape kotha in Assam, through which they spread the joys of reading amongst children. So let us welcome Rituparna. Hi, Rituparna.
Hi, thank you so much.
So nice to finally meet you.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be back with Kalabodh for yet another meaningful collaboration, and I really enjoy this space. Though it's virtual always, but again, I'm meeting Kalabodh virtually, and I'm really happy to be the space of Kalabodh. So thank you for inviting me.
Yes, thank you. We are really grateful that you agreed to do this with us. So actually what happened was we decided on a series of conversations that we are going to hold with various personalities from India and across the globe, and especially focusing on Northeast. So you are the first in the series of this conversations. So I'm really glad that I'm able to host this with you. So yeah, let's just start. I would actually like to begin with a very simple question about your journey and your experience. How did you decide to become a library educator, and what is your relationship really? And what is it that really motivated you into creating this free library and community library space?
Thank you so much for asking me the most important question, of course, because it's very much integral to my practice, what I'm trying to do and why I am doing. I think what I'm trying to do, that basic importance again, why I am doing this, right? So why library, why free library, if I will say, or why I decided to become a storyteller, library educator. Probably again, I have to tell a story. I'm a storyteller, so I love telling story, of course. And then with this also, there is definitely a story related to it. And then main protagonist of the story is my ma. So let me take back, all of you back to my childhood. So I was growing up in Jorhat. একদম গাঁৱৰ আছিলো আমি so that time town only যোৱা কাৰবাৰ, it was like a different affairs for me because you get to see so many things, you can buy things, you can demand for more chocolate, this and that. So and that was during Bihu time again. We went for Bihu shopping, then we were about to return and we were sitting in the bus, and then I demanding for more chocolates and chips and all these things. I was in class 1. And my ma, she was really irritated and pissed off on me, but she still, went off from the bus and she said, okay, let me go and get something. So she got definitely some toffee and some chips, but then along with that, she got 2 magazines. I still remember that. That is Mosak Aru Notunabiskar. So, and she came and she gave it to me. She's like, I found this also because in a bus office, there are always, all those dukan, all those shops with books and all. And she got me from old public bus stand of Jorhat. And I'm like, what is this? And I turned the pages and I found it so amazing and mesmerizing. I still remember the fragrance of the, that both the book and the cover page. It was Bihu edition of Mosak. There was, Kopo Full Asile, and then Nasami Asile, Dhulia Asile. And then Notun Aviskar, I remember, it was about cloning, the whole picture. And there was a cat, a black cat in the eyes and looking at like this. And then below it was written, Herua Groh to quote. So it was talking about some, missing planet. So I'm like, wow. So then that night I came and I started, looking at it. But of course I could not read because I was in class 1 and I wasn't a fluent reader at that time. So my ma read both the magazines, especially the Mosak to me, and I felt that I met someone. I met someone who could be my friend. I found that a different world is there. And then in that world, there are so many stories, there are so many characters, there are so many objects. You can just be friends with them and they will never judge you. You can talk to them, they will listen to you can listen to them. And something I found that day. And then I asked my mom when I will get the next one. Then she said that no, Hokar dada ahibo nohoy, moi tekhetok koi dim, like who used to deliver paper to our home. So then from the next month onward, I started getting Notun Aviskar, Mosak, and then Hopura, the Rongmela, Tinkle. So all these magazine I started getting. And initially I was really not a fluent reader, of course, and my parents, they helped me to read, and I was just happy. Then my ma gave me good luck, a small, that Mati Tekeleta dile, and she told me that if you want to buy more books, if you want to get more books, then you have to save money. And I used to get 2-3 rupees as pocket money that time, like every day is upset, like 2-3 rupees. And then only the day when some gift.
That was a lot of money at that time.
Lot of money, so rest of the 1 or 2 rupees I'll go and put up in that, gulak. And at times you feel that, latri lag gaya, because there are some relatives coming to your home and they give you some 50 rupees or 10 rupees. So it's like huge. And then I started, saving like that. And the targets was set by my mom was 1,000 rupees. I'm like 1,000 rupees. And I always used to think about 1,000 rupees, but I never succeed to get 1,000 rupees by my own. But I always get 1,000 rupees. What mom used to do, just before book fair, when they come to Jorhat, I will just, check my that good luck and I will count the money. And it was never 1,000, but my ma will give me the extra money, the rest of the money, and it will be 1,000 rupees. And I'll go to with my papa to, book fair, and I will buy books. And the day when I go to book fair, my father will just leave me there in the court field of Jorhat. And I will just roam around. I will select buy books on my own. So I feel that was very liberating step for me. Though there were guidance from my papa or my ma, but then they gave me a freedom that, you can go and choose your own books. So I will buy all those books that day, and I will come back with all those carry bag, Bonalata, Jyoti Prakashon, Bani Mandir, all these publishers and all these new books. And what I will do, I put up all the books in the bed, one by one like this, just like, in the book fair, they decorate the books. And during those days, there were no electricity in my village. Till my class 10, there were no electricity in my village. So, but I still remember the evening was so bright, just like any other halogen light, because with the lamp, the light, the ray came to the new book's cover and it shine. And then I still remember the fragrance of those books. And I feel I'm the richest person in the world that day. And I
That's
would
so
sleep.
beautiful.
Yeah, so I would sleep with the the books, and I actually okay, I like a Mridupankhi. I can still see those. Like I can just know মোৰ চকু মুদি দিছো লেম্পটো আছে আমাৰ ঘৰত তেতিয়া মাটি বেৰ আছিলে and then কিতাপবোৰ মই দেখি আছো মোৰ চকুৰ আগত এতিয়াও এতিয়াও and then সেই সুগন্ধটো কিতাপৰ so and I think that was the kind of relationship I built with books and it stayed with me so many people I'm a queer person I'm a transgender person so people ask me how do you cope up how did you cope up I'm like I'm still coping up and I'm still going on but I reflect who saved me then it's books and library so again there are another story of course so I was studying in a village school in my own village till class 7 I came to a bigger school in class 8 to Jorhat town it was really a big school in that way so I was lost I was bullied there are so many children so many students so I was more exposed to bully high school bully and all and it was class 8 right so my peers were also like that only so it was so evident that they will do like that so but there were beautiful things in the school that they had a rich library and then the big thing was that the library was open during the leisure time so I could escape from all those bully and I could just go and quietly stay in the library and I can read and read and read and I felt that I am in the safest space in the world so if someone asks me till now Rituparna, what do you understand by a safe space or what is the safest space for you in the world I will say it's library who helped me to save my life it helped me actually and it helped me to give me so many things to my mind to think and reflect and go and I could make so many friends and when I say friends I started reading all the literature so from those I started getting life lessons so in Assamese I always say that my জীৱন বোধৰ শিক্ষা তেতিয়া পাইছিলো because I started reading so many novels I started reading so many short stories and it really helped me to be resilient understanding human psychology understanding human behavior and I was so much into fiction so I was into fiction so it helped me to build empathy within me so those are the things and it really helped and library was become very integral part of my life so when I went to college I will always spend time in library it's like if I'm not reading also I will go and sit there quietly and those people who are in the library they become good friends with me also because I feel people who are friends with books they can be friends with anyone and everyone right so in that way there was always in this thing in my mind that I want to do something around library because library saved me I was so grateful and I felt that these things should go to other people as well who so after my master I started working I became independent financially so I started buying books every month like few books every month and children books
Okay, so I actually wanted to ask you because you have mentioned that the library became your safe space, and is that also a motivation that you want to create that safe space for other people, for youngsters, for queer youngsters, for for other marginalized community people, for women? Is that also another motivation that you feel that you need to do that? Because I feel I think you already answered that, but I felt that I must ask you, and how you are trying to do that. If it is so, how you are trying to create that space,
yes Thank you. Yeah. Yes, I know I really talked a lot about creating safe space, and it's so important because this is what we deserve and we need, regardless of your any identity. right? Your gender identity, your sexual orientation, or your children or adult, or women or men, anyone, or race, religion, anything. So when we talk about library space, when I talk about, I just don't talk it's like a library or so. I specifically mention about free community library. So when I talk about free library, it means there is no fee. So it's a very political statement in that way that nobody needs to pay a single penny also to enter to the library space, because if I'm putting some money also, then it means I am creating a barrier for some people. So in that way, then another one is that we welcome everyone moromere, they are saying, with love. So this is the basic principle about our free library, that where we welcome everyone with love, moromere. So when we talk about with love, it doesn't mean the language only, in what tone you are talking about. You can be very mikichuri or something like that, but then if you are not deconditioning your conditions, then what is the matter of talking hi nicely, oh come, no, doesn't matter. Right? But then how I'm reflecting about my whole approach. So when I talk about welcoming everyone with love, it means how you are seeing your library space as a true inclusive space where everyone get their voice, everyone get their space, and there are no discrimination, everyone have equal opportunity, so that they can grow together. So this is what we say when we say we welcome everyone with love. So and this is the basic about creating a safe space. Also, when we are talking about creating a safe space, definitely we talk about policy and practice. What are the kind of policy we are practicing within our spaces, be it community library or be it schools or be it any other public spaces. Also, to make the policy successful, what are the kind of practices we are abiding to, or we are embracing it, right? Or how we are constantly trying to remind us. Now, talking about coming back to free community library, yes, for me, it's children focused, definitely. But when I'm talking about children, if my children are safe in the library space, but when they will go back to home and, there is no environment for that, or if in a community space in other, then apart from the library, if there is no, then I don't think so there is a meaning only you are focusing on creating a safe space within your community library or so. So you really have to engage the other stakeholders around your children, because you really cannot see it's like a single-headed things or something like that. So in that case, definitely we try to talk about it with everyone, and we try to make it like a inclusive space for that. So within community library, then for queer, for women, for Adivasi, for Muslims, for tribal, for everyone, the space is there where everyone will feel safe, because the kind of approach what we are trying to talk about it. And this is what every space have to be. Every space have to be. I will never say, I will definitely say that not all our university space or college space are like this. Like someone will feel that they are not welcomed. For example, me being a queer person, if the whole infrastructure is so binary, then it's not a safe space for me. If I am a person with disability and there is no disability friendly infrastructure in the college or university, and how can I say that this space is safe space for me? Because I will be constantly reminded that there is some barrier, there is some barrier, there is some barrier.
I think you have more or less answered my question. In fact, not more or less, you have clearly answered my question. I would actually now, in context to the creation of a community space, a safe space, I would like to talk to you about the most celebrated thing, which for myself, it feels like therapy to me, looking at your Instagram page of Kitape Kotha Koy. It is actually very therapeutic. Yes, I would like to know how that project Kitape Kotha Koy came about, and where are you at now with that project?
Yes, thank you. So yeah, where I left the first question's answer, like in 2020 April, I will start from there. So yes, as I was sharing that I always wanted to start a library in my own place, and I started working on it. I started educating myself. I started reading more, especially around children literature, pedagogy, and all those things, because for me, no work should be happen just in token or something like that, just for the sake of doing. You are doing that and you are not trying to educate yourself first, and just trying to do. I really don't believe on this. So that's why I started reading around library practice, library education, and also more and more children literature. If you can see in my bag, it's all children literature only, picture book. And I stopped reading books for adults probably in last few years. I'm just reading children literature. Also, I started, buying books. And 2020 April, I wanted to start a library in my own village, but then pandemic came, so my order for books were also stuck somewhere, and books did not came, and so and so, and then time just went on and went on and went on. I really could not start, but I like to go with plan B also. It's not so management kind of things. I believe all those formula thing, but I always try to think, if I'm not being able to do this, then what else I can do. So my plan was, for always plan A was that I will start the community library physically, but plan B was that if I can create a storytelling platform. So when I got to know that this pandemic bhaiya came, so nothing will happen for some time. So I'm like, no, you can't sit ideal. And I was missing children. I was just stuck at home. So I'm like, let's start with, whatever books I have. So there are three children in my neighborhood. So we were in village. So we had mobility. Like, so three children, they started coming to my home, and we used to sit in the veranda in the morning half, and I used to tell story to them. I used to read story to them. But that was a physical activity started. If I will talk about Project Kitape Kotha Koy, then I thought that I'm doing storytelling to them. Why not I record them and I disseminate them online, so that more and more children can get it. That was the idea. It came also. Pandemic gave us this scope that a lot of online work started happening from home. So in that way, I started doing. So started recording read aloud. So there are Pratham book story weaver platform. Their books are copyright free. So it gave me liberty to utilize their books in that way. So some of the books I really liked it. So what I started doing, I started translating also, because story weaver platform again give you the free access to translate also. So it's very liberating in that way. So I started translating, and then I will record, and I just put up in YouTube channel, Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook, like that. And then slowly I got the names the story mama. So in both the two things, this project Kitape Kotha Koy started. Also, what I started doing, I started writing about children literature or children books, with theme basis, and I started posting it my social media handle in the title that Kitape Kotha Koy Book Speaks. So, and I really got good response. And when I started doing the read aloud online, I really got good response from people. So many people from abroad who were residing outside of Assam, whose roots is Assam, and they really felt that it's beautiful because they could give those story to their children. I know they can hear Assamese words and Assamese story, and it was very liberating things for me, because it helped me to tell myself that Rituparna, what you are doing, it's going good. Otherwise, I was also in the self-doubt, if it is not interactive mode, it's just a one-way communication with children, does it work or not? But then the idea about starting the library, it did not die, or it did not stopped it in my mind. So I started working on it. I started working on myself. I started reading more, pedagogically. I started practicing more and all, and then and I got so many well-wishers, and who supported the whole library initiative wholeheartedly. There are no funding such to my library now till now, but I started the library with 600 books, which were personal collection of mine. But now the library has more than 1,500 books. and it's
That's
not even 1 year.
amazing. That's
Yeah. And
amazing.
all the other books were donated by individual donor. Someone gave me 1 book, someone gave me 10 books, someone gave me 30 books, a big book box, but every donation counts. So in 2021 August, I could finally make the library space alive, in my own village. So thanks to my parents, they gave me one small hut, which is like, half kacha, half pakka, matir bear hoy, mud wall with bamboo, which is very Assamese kind of things. And then, yeah, so, and the people from the village, they started coming and they contributed in that way, doing some work, donating their labor, like the children were so enthusiastic about it. And so many people and my people from queer circle, they started coming and volunteering it. So, like somebody did some painting, some poster, somebody painted the logo in a gamusa, a lot of things. I still remember someone texted me in Instagram that, hey Rituparna, don't you think there is a need of signboard in the library? I said, yeah, but I'm not giving priority to it. She's like, no, I know you have to have a signboard in the library with the kitape kotha name. I'm giving you some money. So she transferred 1,000 rupees to me and she's like, you have to make a signboard. I'm like, who thinking like that way? I don't know. I didn't know her in that time, and it was an Instagram message and it came and poor Jorhat library I'm making, poor Bahati Manu, and thinking so much that there should be a signboard so the children can come and see, oh, that's our library, So it was so beautiful experience in that way. So in that way, the library came, as I said, we started with 600 books, which were my personal collection, but now I have more than 1,500 books in the library. But we do regular read aloud and storytelling sessions within our library. It's not 1 year, but then in last few months, total footfall is 893 till now. So it means it's success, because in between there were so many band because of, again, partial lockdown, because of this and that. After that, it's a small village and 893 footfall. It means in average basis, there are always 20.
That's a huge
Yeah,
amount. And
yeah,
it feels like success already, When
yeah,
so many people coming in. And but just to hear that somebody from Instagram messaged you and donated a signboard, it is just so heartwarming. And people actually are so open, We
yeah,
don't really get to know this unless we have a platform like this. And
yeah.
from your story only, I'm just thinking that, whenever we have a platform like this, people do come out and they do have, we get to see their goodness.
Yes, true. So yeah, and this is what you just said. This is what about Bhul Project Kitape Kotha Koi. And then the library is in Jorhat. And then I always had in this my mind that I want to create more and more libraries. It's not just one library, and which is community owned, which is shared space. So now I'm working on opening the second library in Guwahati. Books, I can say that books I could collect some good amount of books. More books will come. Now I feel so rich in that way, like I got so many books. There were another person from Assam who lives in UK now. I got to connect with her through one of my mutual friend, and she was like, Ritu, I want to donate some books. I'm like, thank you so much, please do that. And she asked me, do you have a wish list? She called me at midnight, like 2 a.m. In India time, it was 2, and she was so, restless about books because she loves books. She loves books. Her partner also read books a lot. And both of them lives in UK. And she's like, Rituparna, I can donate books, of course, but I can ask my friends also. Na? I'm like, please ask. And she's like, no, you have to work on a wish list, you make a big wish list and all. So what she started doing, she started asking for books from different friends. And that was a donation drive which helped me to get connected with so many people from all over the world. There were people from South Africa, there were people from Australia or so and so, and they all of them donated through Amazon. And it was so easy, and most of them definitely they were NRI. There were different people, who were living in different parts of India, and I got so many most outstanding books which I always dreamed of to buy for my library. At the time, I could really build a collection around feminism, for children, around gender and sexuality, around themes of environment, climate justice, and all these things. Apart from this library, physical library thing, what we do through Project Kitape Kotha Koi, when you ask where it is now, I provide workshop on library education and storytelling to teachers, to NGO workers, or to the youth also, so that more and more people can take up this work. Also, how to set up library, how you build vision for your library, and so and so. And then also I have done some mobile library programming that way, which name is pop-up library, which I learned from Bookworm Goa. Pop-up library is the concept where you take theme-based books for 3-4 hours to a public space where a library pop-up. And you invite people to read those books. So whenever I'm going and doing some workshop around gender and sexuality with adult or university student or NGO workers, I always put up a pop-up library there for 3-4 hours, and there will be always a 1 hour reading time where people come and read. And
wonderful. I am just enthralled with your story, with your journey, how it is progressing. Yeah, I think we are also running short of time now, but I would very quickly want you to respond to this thing that I think you have mentioned before, and I have heard you say and write in your Instagram stories and in your posts, that you always talk about the power of storytelling and reading together with children, how that is one of the biggest weapon, if lack of a better word, I'll use the word weapon, that of change, a catalyst of change in our world. So I would like you to respond to that and also connect to our Kalabodh's storytelling session that you did for children in collaboration with District Museum of Jorhat. How was the session? And what was the response? And would you be willing to do something like this in future with us? And so I would like you to respond to that.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so talking about storytelling and how it helped, like you can say from the sharing which I did in the first part of the whole conversation, like how it helped me to embrace empathy, reading and listening to stories, reading stories, and all these things. And one thing I feel these days, we are losing conversation. We forgot to talk. We are, forgetting to listen to people. And that's why so many words are, missing from our life. It's fading away. Like, for example, probably you can also reflect and think that during childhood, we used to, use a lot of words, maybe in Assamese. Probably we forgot about all those. Why? Probably we're not talking about it, or we're not listening. At times, I feel we are disconnected from people because we are not in conversation. We are not in talk to each other. We're not trying to listen to each other. So this is why this is my conscious effort that through storytelling, if we can revive that thing, we can talk more, we can have more meaningful conversation, we can get engaged in conversation. I see a lot of issues that when we do not understand people, for example, your and my gender identity is different, probably both of us don't understand mutually each other, probably your and mine religious background is different, and we feel that we are so different. Why? Because we're not listening to each other, we're not trying to get in conversation with each other. So what I feel, in a very early age with children, if we can go for meaningful conversation, from there we can create dialogue. And I believe that when we talk and when we have conversation and dialogue, we can really understand each other's mind. We can go more close to people. And this is what I believe, the power of reading and power of storytelling. And if we are seeing a better future, where we understand each other, where we know the language of love, where we can embrace each other as they are, we really have to have, get in conversation and dialogue, and together we have to go. And reading and storytelling will definitely help us. Coming to the other parts of question about Kalabodh. So I got connected to Kalabodh and I got connected to the wonderful human uh, Hangitaba, and then I really felt loved and cared from her, and I felt that it's so meaningful to be in engaged with Kalabodh, because I really like the idea. Also, what we wanted to do in that way. I felt connected in that. Also, the love. What I received from finally those storytelling they came, and we were so excited when the children came to those WhatsApp group. We were welcoming them, they were texting something, and they were all excited. And then we had storytelling on the life of Moniram Devan and Brajanath Verma. And for me, it was a new learning experience, because for two that important person in our history, I was doing a storytelling session online, and I was little bit nervous also, because how you are going to handle it, right, in an online way. It was also different, and I felt blessed, because of the whole session, I really got to know more about Brajanath Verma. Before that, I was not so much aware about Brajanath Verma, though I was really aware about Maniram Devan. So, and it was really wonderful experience when the storytelling session happened that day. The children, the way they responded, they were so much into the story, they were responding, they were asking questions, they were giving their insights, what they think and all. So I feel that was the whole success about the whole storytelling session. And then the journey started, the journey continued.
I thought of today's conversation with you in regards to the session that you did, because the responses that we received, and she had copies of those responses, she had emails, she had WhatsApp messages that she shared with me. It was so wonderful that children from Assam, from Delhi, and all over India, whoever joined those 35 children, they had an amazing session, and all of them responded in a very, very positive way. So I think I'm just very overwhelmed with what you have shared. I'm lacking words to respond to your journey. And I'm very grateful that you shared it with me today. And as I mentioned in the beginning of today's session, that this is the first of the sessions, many sessions that we are planning to do. We are planning to bring in a lot of other personalities from different fields and then share their journey, so that, people get to know what we are doing, what you are doing, and what many of us are doing to bring in change and to create a loving, equal society, perhaps. So yeah, I think with that, we will end our today's session. And it was really, really wonderful. Thank you so much, Rituparna.
Thank you.
And we would love to have you back.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Kalabodh. Thanks to you, I got to know you now, and I'm really happy to get connected. And when you told that you already follow Kitape, Kotha, and you just use the big word therapeutic, and I'm like, oh my God, I feel more responsible, when you said that. So it was really wonderful conversation I had with you. Thank you for the reflective question. And I hope if people have any questions or anything, they can connect with me. I'll be more happy to answer or to get connected also. So yeah, so for the language of love and power of reading, thanks to everyone. Please stay blessed and please take care, everyone. Thank you.